2024. This is the regular meeting of the Gilliam County Court. We have established a quorum, called the meeting to order, and we'll now have the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome, everyone. Additions and revisions to the agenda. Commissioner Watkins, you had a change.
I would just like to move the 4.2 to just into reports.
Okay.
For correspondence.
Okay, 4.2 will be moved to correspondence. Anything from you, Commissioner Wilkins?
No.
Okay. Correspondence and public comment. Individuals wishing to address the county court may do so at this time throughout the meeting. Speakers are asked to raise their hand to be recognized, give their name and city, and limit comments to 3 minutes. But if you signed in, it is on the agenda. It is on the agenda, yes. 5.3, yes. Are there any comments? Anybody who would like to make a public comment? Okay. Come on up, Mr. John. Anybody else?
No one signed up.
Okay, come on up, right here.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Larry Johnson. I'm the
You can
superintendent.
have a seat if you like.
I'm used to standing.
It's up to you.
I'm the superintendent of Arlington Schools, and I speak for the board and the district today. And I want to introduce my guest too is Mark Davidson. He's our transportation and our maintenance supervisor. He came with me today. And first of all, I would like to say to the commissioners and the judge and county how much we appreciate the support we've had over the years for projects that we've done at our school. Recently, with the monies that we were able to secure, we put in 2 new houses in our district on property that we've owned. It's been a learning process through this, but as many of you know, we have about 14 teachers in our district, and 6 of them in the next couple of years are going to be retiring. And we've really had challenges in the last few years to try to get teachers to come to our school. And if you're in the school business, we don't do well when we don't have teachers. And so what we're trying to do, and the board and I've worked together on this, is to have very competitive salaries, good insurance plan, and affordable housing. And so we're working towards that goal. And with the 2 houses that we had, and we were able to purchase a duplex, we're just about to the point that we're going to finish 2. We have room for 2 more houses on our properties. And we've applied for a grant, and the county has been very good about giving us some monies for that project. We're just a little bit short on it, and I'm advocating for the fact that we could use just a little more money to make this thing happen to where we have the housing available to cover the staff needs in the future. And we feel this is an investment to our community, and it'll be a long term that we won't have to come back and ask for any more resources for housing. Again, Mark and I learned a lot through this process. We're not developers. We learned a lot about Davis-Bacon wages, and we learned about county rules. And so we're in pretty good shape to move forward. We've got the lots pretty well prepared for the 2 more houses that we're trying to put in. Mark, do you want to address any of this?
One thing I would say.
Okay, if you have something to say, it'd be best to come up so everybody can hear. Thank you. And then just state your name and your city.
Mark Davidson, Arlington, represent Arlington School District. The one thing I would say also is the way our housing is set up, it's designed to give a new teacher immediate place to live without looking for trying to find a house. If we don't fill it with a teacher, then they're open to the public to rent. They're on 1-year leases. So it's hopefully to encourage new coming people into the community to also buy into the community. as well as have housing available for the new coming people, whether they work for the school, whether they work for Waste, the county, whoever. We've got this set up to where these houses will be self-sufficient. There's line items in our budget that are being created that will generate a pool of money that whenever they need repairs, they'll be able to pay for themselves. And the other upside of it is it also generates an income for the school to help maintain our year-to-year or day-to-day operations without looking for more money from outside sources. We've put the infrastructure in. When we put the first housings in, we put big enough sewer lines in to accommodate more houses. We have the water in for it. We put enough power to, we've got all the basic infrastructure built, that we just don't have enough revenue without getting into our funds. I've heard some comments made that we made them fairly plush, like built-on garages, and that is code in Arlington. You cannot put a modular home in and not have either an attached or unattached garage with it. They won't give you occupancy without that. That wasn't a luxury, that was a requirement.
Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, I just, as you all know, how important schools are to their community. And we really struggled on getting teachers to come in and take positions. And we're looking for the future, and we want to have a very strong and dynamic school, reflects what our values are in the community. And we think that this would go a long ways to help us reach that goal of affordable housing and attracting teachers in. And we're just asking for additional funding on this. So that's why we're here.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, any other public comment that's present in the room? I do want to ask Sean Bell, you came today because we had an agenda item, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to address the county court if you wanted to.
Sure.
Because you were notified that the item was removed.
Yep.
What that item is a right-of-way application. And we just put this off until the January meeting, but you weren't notified of that. So I just want to give you an opportunity to comment.
Yeah, I don't have,
If you chose.
yeah, Sean Bell, Portland, Oregon. Renewable energy developer. We're working on a project in Gilliam County. As we probably know, it's been going on for a long time.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Leah. And one of the challenges to any project is getting the project connected between the project area and the point of interconnection. In this case, it's Diamond Butte, proposed Diamond Butte substation on Herb Ho's Apple land. And because of kind of the way things are leased up and laid out between us and EDPR, one of the opportunities that presented itself was the ability for us to and this is through Dude Kennedy, for us to utilize the public right of way for transmission corridor. We think it's a great idea. I do think there's an opportunity for some possible funding, project funding from the applicant, from Cordelio, for various projects in the county. So that may be something we want to think about. But long and short of it is our request is that we're granted a right-of-way easement completely wholly within the right-of-way along Barnett and Cedar Springs Lane, Barnett Road and Cedar Springs Lane. It's about 6 miles between Roger Light's property and then Herb Ho's property. So,
Okay.
that's kind of
Sean, you said Barnett and Cedar Springs Road? 6
Barnett
miles?
Road and Cedar Springs Lane.
Cedar Springs Lane, about 6 miles.
Yeah. And I do have, I don't know if you want me to give them to you now, I certainly can, but I've got a kind of a schematic of what the pole would look like. So it might be a little bit informative. And I think you have seen the application with the map that indicates where the,
Yes, it was on the agenda.
Yeah.
And that was posted
Yeah.
at the time. We'll make sure that that's provided to the county court members in case it was, so they have a chance to.
yeah,
look
so I have
at
a
it.
chance to look at it.
Mhm,
Yeah.
right.
It's pretty good map.
Mhm.
And I've driven the road with Dewey and, from what I understand, he doesn't have any concerns about it. And as long as we stay within, wholly within the right of way. For
Mhm.
the, for the engineering, the surveying, evaluation, and then, coordinating with the other utilities that are present in the right of way. But the intention is to not have to use adjacent properties at all. We may at, it's various places, depending on, where the infrastructure is, we may have to use adjacent properties for laydown areas, just temporary, for deliveries and things like that. And I don't know what kind of structure specifically. I've got the idea. What I'll give you the schematic is, it's kind of a worst case scenario, so to speak. So it's as large as it would ever be, but more than likely it'll be smaller than what we're proposing. So it could be a direct bury, it could be a foundation and a full bolted to the foundation.
Okay,
So we're not sure about the engineering yet.
okay.
So this is strictly on county right of way.
Yeah.
With the exception possibly using some private.
Yeah, some private, it only if necessary during construction.
Okay, how long has this been going on? I'm new, Sean, and
Oh, no worries.
just,
So Leah will tell you that I've been coming out here since 2008.
okay,
And the project moved forward and then it got killed. It
okay,
didn't get killed. The market really turned in the 2011, 2016 period, sort of.
Okay.
So there wasn't a lot of opportunities, and this was before all the data centers were being built. So now we're kind of flush with opportunities for update.
okay,
So then what Navitas did, my company's name is Navitas, it's a development company.
Okay.
We kind of reignited the whole project, dusted it off and tried to figure out if we could make it work this time around. And we think we can, and we engaged a partner, a very, very well-funded, very reputable, big development shop to help us with the funding of the project. And they obviously, they've got way more connections at the interconnection side than I do. But it's a very good partnership. And I think these guys I really have a lot of faith that we can make this work
Okay.
this time.
okay.
So is the
Alright.
project just in the Clem area and,
It's basically, yeah, it's north of, so, use property names here, but, it's Weimer North,
okay,
I'm sorry, Weimer South. Yeah. Up to Hill and just, not to Glenwood essentially.
Yeah.
So kind of that whole midsection between 19 and, west of 19, you kind of know where.
Yeah.
It's gonna be. And it's a little bit bigger than last time too. The others have pulled out, so it gave us an opportunity to kind of, lease some of that land.
Mhm.
Okay.
So we got,
Okay, so our January meeting is, because the first Wednesday is New Year's Day. So January 8th is our meeting, and that's when we'll consider the application. Okay,
Excellent.
sorry for any confusion.
no, that's okay.
Well,
It's always good to come out here. Absolutely.
22nd as well in Arlington.
Yeah, and the
And
22nd.
being on
Yeah, the 22nd in Arlington and the 8th in Condon. So,
the 18th, okay, but more than likely it'll be held on the 8th. or it'll be-
yeah, it should be held on the 8th.
Okay,
Mhm.
excellent.
Make you
And
drive through the fog.
coming in last night is a challenge. I've been out here,
Communicate so that we make sure that if there's any weather delays or
That there's
anything
no
like that,
fog?
we know. Mhm. Yeah.
been coming out here forever, and this is the first time I've seen it like this.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
this is how it gets.
Crazy. The other thing I want to mention too is that I'm available 24/7 for any questions or comments or inquiries that you have. If you want to talk to me about, the energy sector, you want to talk to me about this project, anything, I'm happy to provide any guidance I can.
Yeah, I might check in with you a little bit later
Yeah.
and dive into it, and
Yeah.
I'm new to it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'll have some questions and
I'll
reach out to you.
So I'll give someone my phone number and contact information.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
excellent. We'll do that. I appreciate
Thank you,
you.
Mr. Bell.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sean.
Mhm.
See
I'll
you.
talk to you later. Okay.
All right, see where we are on the agenda. Is there any other comment? No? Okay. We have some pieces of correspondence. Let's move the first item, which was an agenda amendment, the treasurer's financial report. Then we have a 2024 population estimate produced and published by Portland State University, which is very interesting because it shows housing units and how those have increased in the county. So over time, from 2020 to 2024. Also, we have next update from our Gilliam County Clerk, Ellen Wagenaar, and then we will go ahead and go into the rest of the correspondence.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Morning.
Ellen Wagenaar, Gilliam County Clerk. First thing I'd like to do is introduce my new deputy clerk, Kim O'Connell. She just started November 4th.
Welcome.
Welcome. her.
Morning.
Welcome.
All right, wow.
What was her name?
Oh, Kim O'Connell.
Okay.
Wow, it's been a year, guys. You're testing my patience. We've had 3 elections this year, which is abnormal for a small county. I want to say the general election on November 5th, we had an 80% turnout. Excellent.
That is.
Never had that before. So kudos to Gilliam County voters. Right now I'm working on just finalizing everything from the election. On a primary and a general, you always have to do a hand count afterwards to make sure. They only pick 1 precinct
Oh,
and you have to make sure the hand count matches the machine count, which we always come out. So we passed that. It was interesting, the Friday after the Tuesday general election, all the counties in Oregon received a bomb threat. It came by email and it was between 4 and 5 p.m. and unfortunately it went into the junk mail. Some people saw it, some people didn't. That Monday was a holiday, that was Veterans Day. So a lot of people didn't know about it till Tuesday. Thankfully, nothing happened. FBI is investigating. So things like this happen, but we're just blessed that nothing happened.
yes.
Okay, the first Monday in January is January 6th, and that's when we perform our oath of offices. So I will get with you guys. I can come to you. We can do it here. It's whatever is easiest for you. But it has to be done on that Monday. Can't wait for county court day, unfortunately. And I have the judge, the commissioner, and the assessor. We have a newly elected Oregon Secretary of State, Tobias Reed, which means new administration. So we'll have all new staff at the Oregon Secretary of State's office. Currently, there's a transition team helping for the new positions. A lot of staff has already left. And we're waiting to hear to see what they do with the election director and the deputy election director. They'll keep them over, they'll get new people. Measure 117, ranked choice voting, failed. Which they told us it was gonna pass, so we don't have to worry about that.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It depends on who you talk to. Yes. Let's see, in January, I'll be working on getting ready for the May 20th, 2025 district elections. I'll be reaching out with notices to the districts for the current board members. Encouraging anybody that wants to be a board member, please reach out to those districts and file a candidate form. First day to file is February 8th. Last day to file is March 20th. Again, we're gearing up for a new voter system. We've been working on this. The state's been working on this for about 2 years now. Our current system is called OCVR. It's Oregon Central Voting Registration. And they're trying to go to an ORVIS. It's Oregon Registered Voter Information System. The new system is to implement modernized election systems. 2025 district election, we will not be using the new system. I think they found out it's more complicated to change. So we have a lot of training to go through. And I'm kind of glad we are not doing a district, because I'm a small county, so we have 12 districts. You know, other large counties have over 100, and that's mapping and everything on that system. So I don't want to try a election out on that one. We're excited. We're finally got hooked up with our vendor, Gilliam, to import our old recordings from the vault books. And now we can start indexing them. Right now, we're working on book A to Z, and there's 600 pages per book. So that's going to be a ongoing project, but it's exciting because then everything will be on the computer. And so, do you have any questions or? No?
January 6th.
January 6th.
January
Love
6th.
this.
Yes.
All right. Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
you. Okay, next we have a special projects grant final report from the city of Condon, and this was for a pool cover. And for the Condon swimming pool. Next, we have a potential refund credit report for 24-25 from Gilliam County Assessor Chet Wilkins. We have capital investment grant cycle 2 update status, Brooklynn, Griffith, Gilliam County Finance Director. Oh, go ahead.
I have a question about the refund credit. Is that the one that's been sitting out there for a while because of?
This would be, Chet would need to answer this question. Is that the refund credit report?
There's Chet. I think, is this the one they've been holding for a while?
Well, there's several.
Or is this more added?
If you look at the spreadsheet, it shows them all the years.
Okay,
So, yeah. And we are working on a summary to explain it to all the taxing districts. That's what we're doing in there now. Because we've been asked like how it all works and why it's withheld from everybody.
yeah,
But that's just how the process works. And the biggest issue is that it's our top 2 taxpayers in the county that are appealing. So the effect is, you know, a lot more on everybody than it would have been if it was a lesser tax amount that was due. So we figured that they account for like 37% of the total tax we collect. And we saved back a percentage. We're just trying to guesstimate like what we need to hold back so we won't have to try to claw back from the districts. So
Yeah.
they're working on summarizing the process and why it happens and how everybody's made whole in the end.
Okay.
and is there any end in sight in this
Well,
problem?
that's the other issue is we have no idea. So like as an example, Comcast had an appeal that didn't affect us, but the counties in the valley that went on for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years. Hopefully these don't, but we have no idea. And when you ask the Department of Revenue, they don't know either. So,
So they've been doing this for the last 5 years, like according to your spreadsheet here.
yeah, and some of them are new and some of them are, they have been going on for.
Is it just so they can just try to,
Well, because they can't, you know, the state are the ones that go through the process, so it's just going through the court system and it's a long, drawn out process before there's ever a decision.
they're just trying to pay as less as they can?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they all do. They all want to do in the end, right? So
Right.
it could be resolved next year, it could be 5 years, so we don't know.
I know, because I think I had a constituent that asked me, why is it affecting the South County when the city court was in the north end, so.
Right, and so the way that it works is that all of the taxes come in and it's just the lump sum. And then with the schedule is broke out by your portion of that. So like what you're supposed to collect. So if you have 2%, you get 2% of whatever comes in, not what just comes in from your code area that your district is in. So that keeps you from bankrupting like these small districts if for some reason, one of their biggest taxpayers doesn't pay like this, so they don't just not get any money, everybody gets their portion of what's coming in of the whole.
Yeah.
And then you get into this unique situation where the companies that are paying over, a third of the taxes are appealing, and then you have to decide what we're gonna hold and what we're not. Trying to estimate the impact, and they could get it all eventually, or we could not held enough in reserve to cover it, so I don't know. It's the fun part. of
Yeah.
Being the tax collector.
Yeah, I remember it sitting in that.
Okay, thank
Does
you.
that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else on that?
Thanks, Chet.
Thank you. Okay. We have capital investment grant cycle 2 update status Brooklyn Griffith. Did you want to come up or? Did you just-
Questions, Grant had asked us to kind of recap it further down to the 1 page compared to the spreadsheet, so this is just the information is on the spreadsheet now, we're just putting it on.
Right.
Show you.
Okay, this is very helpful.
Projects are still open,
Mm-hmm.
how much is remaining to be funded to them.
Right. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on that report? No? Okay. Also, we have a waste management tonnage report we receive monthly. We have a Q1 progress report from Kelley Nonprofit Consulting, and it's a good report with lots of information. We've also received our first billing, which is itemized and shows which entities have been utilizing Kelley Nonprofit. Did you have anything to add to that, Commissioner Watkins?
No,
Okay. Okay, now correspondence. The consent agenda. Bills pending review are too early, correct?
No, I forgot that. It's just
Okay.
the second time we've done that, and it was been a month since our last meeting, so I
Okay.
forgot to send those.
That-
back.
that's on me. I should have reminded.
That's okay. What we're trying to do is give you the actual bills. So we're gonna approve the bills. You're seeing the actual bills. You appreciate that?
Yeah, it was like in each edit that I did, and
Okay.
already approved by Chris.
Mhm.
For the check, so it was just, I just provided those to you guys at the beginning of November, so that was the intention, I'll email it out to you.
Okay.
So
perfect.
there is certain counties that have just like a financial page
Mhm.
on their website
And
that
put it
would
on.
show, the treasurer's report, bills pending
Mhm.
review, anything like that. I don't know if we can set something up like that people can go in and view.
That would be very, very easy.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that have that.
Mhm.
And just to get the information to you sooner than,
Because I
Yeah.
posted on the bulletin board right here is requirement by statute, but, it would be very easy.
it's easier to look it over if we see it electronically, I think.
Yeah, we should see about. trying to
Yeah.
Do that.
Consensus that we can go ahead and proceed with setting up a finance page. And as long as there's no other objection to that, including bills pending review and financial reports. That sounds good. On our website. The treasurer's financial report as well, came last night. Consider approval of Gilliam County Courthouse monitoring agreement with IES. Chris Fitzsimmons, did you want to address this? Is there anything to address? It's on the consent agenda, okay? It's recommended for approval. Consider amendment of road use agreement with Leaning Juniper Wind Power LLC. Consider approval of amendment 12 to Oregon Health Authority Agreement for financing of public health. And consider approval of commercial lease renewal agreement with Interstate Concrete and Asphalt. Is there any questions about the items on the?
So I had a question about the Leaning Juniper.
Mm-hmm.
Are they removing Rattlesnake because it's a different company now?
Do you have any reasoning?
They just submitted it. Not sure the reasoning why they're moving the Rattlesnake and adding other firms.
Yeah, this is the
Is
third
that,
amendment.
is that the one that's sold to,
Yeah, I believe so.
so are we gonna have to have an agreement with them?
I can reach out to them.
You want
Yeah, we can,
Do we want to hold off on it till we have an answer to that?
Sure.
Yeah, I would like to. I visited with the roadmaster a little bit about it, but that's, yeah.
Yeah,
this
and
is-
he's unable to be here today, and perhaps he could be here at the next meeting where we can
Mhm.
ask a question.
We can find out why.
Yeah.
I mean,
just brief.
either that or we're leaving rattlesnake out there with nothing
Yeah.
on it, so.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them and ask them.
And this is the third amendment, so I guess I just want to make sure that we're covering whatever.
I think that's the only question I had about it is who's gonna be responsible for rattlesnake now?
If I can do that.
Okay.
So,
Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of the road use agreement for Lean Juniper Wind Power LLC?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented with removing 4.4. The amendment to the road use agreement with Leaning Jupiter Wind Power. To address that at our next month meeting.
Mm-hmm.
4.2 to reports. I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with the exclusion of the road use agreement for Leaning Juniper Wind Power LLC and the treasurer's financial report. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Unfinished business. Consider approval of resolution amending the 2024-2025 salary schedule. This is proposed by our finance director, Brooklynn Griffith, just so we have some continuity and as opposed to a motion in a meeting with resolution when we're making changes such as these and especially mid-year changes. My hope is in the future, we're making less mid-year changes and doing them all at once. I think this was a very unusual year. And there was some things that had to be done along the way this year. Hope to eliminate that in the future. Is there any discussion?
No.
Is there a motion to approve? I need to get to the resolution, so I can actually look at the number though, sorry about that.
I move to approve resolution 2024-13 as presented.
Second,
I will second the motion.
okay, it's been moved in second to approve resolution number R 2024-13. Is there any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Unfinished business. Consider a cycle 1 capital investment grant application and recommendation for the Woolery. I'll open the subject for discussion.
So one of the things I was like, I'll just say one thing that bothers me is in-kind hours. I think on your summary or your breakdown, it had you at the fair last year. I don't think you were at the fair last year, and 60 hours seems like a lot. So that just makes me wonder how much the other hours are. It has the 2024 county fair booth up and tear down 60 hours.
That was probably a miscommunication with our grant writer.
Okay,
The year before, we did do a great job.
you did, but 60 hours worth? That just like is a red flag to me that it seems like the hours for volunteer are highly inflated, so.
And with that, again, probably some miscommunication with our grant writer.
Okay.
He's done a great job with us, but some things probably got
miscommunicated. But anyway.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'll go. First of all, thank you for all the time and energy that you guys have put into this project so far. I've spent a lot of hours myself thinking about the project and the good things that it can do, in our history, our heritage. That's tremendous, but it's a tremendous effort put forth so far. And I can see the value but there's such a huge substantial investment to do. I have some concerns. You enclosed the letter from the city of Arlington. I thought that the Woolry already had the land in their name. And this letter is from 2017. And where I'm going at is with the cost to do this, I think it's just a little bit out of your guys' scope. And I still want you guys to be involved, and I'm trying to think outside the box. I don't think that this size of project can get done just by you folks alone. I haven't talked to anybody with the port or the city, but I think with allegedly some development that's coming, I just think it's going to take more resources and a group that has a lot more capabilities to help get this done. And like I say, I definitely want to see it happen. I just don't think we're there yet. And like I say, I'm not trying to shove you guys out of the way or think you guys should have to be out of the way, but I think it's going to take more than just the Woolry board entity to get this done. And I have some concerns with the utilities, some of the numbers. I don't know. It's undeveloped, a lot of it. I know there is a water system up there, but the sewer, I don't know. This is a commercial application, and I guess I just see it's a little, if some alleged development happens up there, I can just see this tying in with it then. But I think it's going to take more resources than just the Woolry can do by itself.
I agree with you. We have in our phases to bring on project managers to pay for this development. I know it's beyond my scope,
right,
and beyond our as a board, but it's in our grants and all the stuff. We're bringing on people that know what they're doing. I do not know. We do not know.
Right.
We want to bring proper people in to get involved with us.
Right.
But we can't do it until we open the field.
Yeah.
We gotta start the process, then people will get on board.
Yeah.
But if we're just sitting out there talking like we have for 10 years,
Yeah.
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're so close. We're very so close. And I understand the taxes thing, and I didn't know, I'm glad that was brought to my attention, because we thought we were taxing them for the last, for the 10 years for property tax.
Right.
We did not know that. So I talked to my accountant about as soon as we learned this, and he said it's very, very common for us to give the project to City of Arlington when we're doing this. So we're prepared to do that. I just want the Woolry done.
Right.
I don't care who owns it.
Right.
The City of Arlington can own the project. I'd already talked to Mr. Buffton about this.
Yeah.
He wanted me to do a presentation at the first of the year. So we're prepared for all these things, and we just want to get it done. And I understand this is above our head.
Yeah.
But we'll bring the people on. That's part of in the phases if you look at our grants, it's in our deal to hire project managers to bring people on and know what they're doing. Because I can't manage it. You're
right.
We can't, it's beyond our means.
Right, and I understand that and see that. I just. I don't know, I think. And like I say, I'm not trying to. Beat you down or be negative. I'm just trying to be straight up front on my thoughts. I'm not trying to kick the can down the road. But I think. I know myself as a commissioner in my position here, I feel for one, we gotta have more than this just with the land tied up. It's gotta be pretty bulletproof. And I'm still. Have a lot of concerns about the utilities. I don't think, I understand some of the numbers that were put in here and, you know, your grant writer and stuff, but, I don't know. I mean, you know, but this alleged development goes through that they're talking about. I think that's gonna help maybe push this thing over the top, but right now, I just don't see it. I wanna see it be successful and I know the positives that it can bring, but I think that, it's gotta be more involved with, I don't know, and I'm gonna talk to the city and the port about it. Just to get their thoughts, but I'm just trying to think of something outside the box to try to help get this done. So,
My thoughts are, just so that the people present and online understand, this grant is for the first phase. $261,053 was requested of a $5 million community center. If I'm misquoting, please tell me. So to me, any amount of public funds that needs to be invested needs to look out into the future about how you're going to fund that $5 million. And I spent a lot of time looking at the budget and knowing that we have strategic investment program funds rolling off, going to roll into taxes. We don't know what all that's going to look like in the future. There could be new tax incentive programs. Likely will be. We just don't know that right now. So if we're going to start the investment in this, we need to be sure we can have we can see the $5 million come to fruition, not all from Gilliam County, but so I look at it holistically, the whole thing, not just this phase, the end result. And I don't know where that money is going to come from. That's one of my concerns. The other concern is where this sits with the conditional use permit with county planning. I don't know where that is. I think that's a question, and it's a serious question that we don't know. Also, whether or not the sewer can tie into the city. So I think there's some unknowns that we have to have answers to before we would consider the application. The other issue too is we have the legislative session coming right up. If there's a potential of funding there, I've always been a proponent of people who come to money with funds in their hand. I have this much money and we only need this much to make this work. I personally like to see that with their grant funds rather than being the first funder. The other thing I'd like to say, we have town hall meetings coming up in January and February, one in Arlington and one in Condon. And out of those town hall meetings, I would like to hear what the public wants us to focus on. And so I'm feeling this is we're a little cart before the horse in that. So we're a little too early. We're also too early with the big development that could be coming down the road for our county. Just might be premature. Those are my thoughts.
Another question I had was on the phase 3, purchasing the building. I see that you've got some other funding sources that you're looking to go out for. And one of them was this federal CDS. I'm not sure what that is. And then you got some here, Oregon State Legislator Capital Projects Grant money, but was that, I guess my main question there I'm going at is, so phase 3 to purchase the building, what was your idea on being able to get the money for that, or where, I mean, was it?
Well, I think some of that was from Greg Smith. You know, he's been he's toured the property, he's been part of us. He's always calling us, asking where we are with the
Yeah.
project. And he's very much behind us. But until we get some ground broken, you know, he's not gonna be behind us.
Yeah,
They just did the Sage Center, $4.3 million,
the state,
Sage Center
Mhm.
and Foreman. But he's very much behind us. I'm new at this game. I don't know how,
right,
I'm looking for answers, looking for
Mhm.
help. That's what I'm looking for is help.
yeah,
Mhm.
We need somebody to say, Rod, go.
Mhm.
We'll help you.
right,
Instead, we get roadblocks.
Mhm.
right,
And that's what I'm concerned about is the roadblocks.
right,
You know, I go to I cook in many barns. I just cooked in one day before yesterday in Hefner. They built another community center there. They got 2 of them now.
Mhm.
And it's brand new. I'm the first guy that cooked in it.
Mhm.
Not bragging, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
they have me.
yeah,
They did it for the first responders and the firemen, all the stuff. But they said, you know, welcome, Rod, you're the first guy that cooked here. I'm not wanting that, I'm wanting something to build our community.
yeah,
Mhm.
I'm not wanting this for Rod McGuire, this is a 100-year building.
Mhm.
It's gonna be here way beyond me.
right,
It's not for me, my personal gain, I'm retired, I'm quitting.
yeah,
Mhm.
I want this to be for everybody. And, you know, I love the project. I need help. We need help.
yeah,
Julius is 97 years old and still with me. And we got a good board. I've had a board for 10 years. And I'm proud of that. Most boards don't stay together this long. So I'm trying to build a community, build something. When I talked to the people in Hefner the night before last, they all came in the kitchen and thanked me. Said, this has brought our community even closer together. And that's what I'm trying to do,
sure,
to bring people together. You're in the business too, you know what it takes. You got a nice business. And it's bringing community together.
right,
I go to Grass Valley, I go everywhere, and we just came from Grass Valley a couple weeks ago. And it just brings 300 people together to talk and do things. You
Mr.
know,
McGuire, I do want to say that I have, for many years, watched you be a visionary person. You have extreme vision. We need people like that. I commend you for that. You've done a great job of putting energy and passion and drive behind this. And I just wanted to say that to you. I do, though, at the same time, have to weigh pros and cons on this side of the table to decide if this is the right time for this. And part of my feeling is that it's timing. Part of it is timing, other funding. And I just think it's too early. I know it seems like a long time for you, but there could be things coming down the road that might dovetail into this, and we're not there yet.
Yeah, I'd like to say a few words. I'd like to thank you.
Could I get you to come up so you can
just,
yeah,
Can't hear
Julius,
you,
your
yeah.
voice is faint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my voice is kind of bad, I know that. They're still with me, so that's good. But, you know, when I came to Arlington 23 years ago, we had 2 restrooms. And now we have your pizza parlor. And that's the only restrooms we have really that are down in the main part of town. We had a grocery store there that had a big meat market, very good market. And there's only 2 things that really keep Arlington alive. And that's the park and that service station. You know, I went by there the other day at the Shell station, and there was 11 cars parked in there. You drive around the corner to the new service station, there's not one car in there. When I moved here, there was an empty service station on the corner as you drive in. It's still there. Nothing really has happened in Arlington. We put in the golf course, and I helped build a fence on that north side of the golf course. We've got the Veterans Memorial down there. I helped build that. And now it's just sitting there. I'm not sure who's running it. Arlington is dying. And you can't show me anything that's really happened down there. If Amazon comes there, then yeah, we got a chance. And this lorry might not pay for itself. There's a lot of things that don't pay for themselves. You know, Condon is very fortunate. You have a lot of people here working for you. You got Catherine Reiner, probably sitting back here somewhere.
She's not here today, maybe online.
And she has really done a lot for Condon. You know, and if we talk about, well, things are gonna pay off, or not pay off, you gotta think about livability.
Mm-hmm.
And if a town is not livable, who's gonna move there?
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the
So I don't disagree with you, Julius, that Arlington needs to have a livability. And I think that's why the court has concentrated on trying to move housing forward, because we have Waste Management will tell you that they have to, you know, have 13 shuttles or whatever it is to bring people in, when a lot of those people could be living there. And so we've dedicated money towards the housing with the port. We're trying to work on the childcare, because people are not gonna move into a place if they don't have any place for their kids to go be taken care of while they have jobs. And also the schools, which I think that, you know, the schools are important. That's the things that people look at when they move into places. They look at schools and childcare and whether I have a house to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So my feeling is we're working towards those. I think if we can get the housing going and the people move in, then the restaurants will fill up. There will be new businesses move in. Then the need for that brewery.
Where can a business move into Arlington? Show me a spot in downtown Arlington. There's one vacant lot. It's been vacant since 1966.
Okay.
So they tore the Pheasant Grill down, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there any other comment that you'd like to make?
I'm just saying we worked really hard, you know, for 10 years. We've invested a lot of we've fundraised, we've raised the money to get to this point.
Mm-hmm.
I wish somebody would get behind us and help us, show us the way to move forward, or we just give up. I just don't know what to do from here on. This is a make or break day, as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I've had the privilege of having a good board behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I got to say. And
I'd like to see if the Oregon legislature steps up. We have a legislative session coming up right around the corner. And maybe I'd like to see if that ends up being a catalyst. And then we'll see where we are.
well,
Well,
at the
and
point where we're at with broke, we've spent all of our funds. we put all our chips on the table.
Mhm.
We've, we spent it on our engineers, on our grant writers and everything. We're down to fairly much zero.
Have you utilized Kelley Nonprofit Consulting at all
No.
to help you?
They don't want.
If there's one thing we can do, we can apply to have us designated as a heritage center.
Mhm.
And there's a state agency that approves that. And I've looked into that a little bit, and I got their phone numbers and all that kind of stuff. But we haven't had time to pursue that, but if we were classified as a heritage center, which it says right on our papers there, heritage center,
Mhm.
that's what we've tried to be,
Mhm.
then that's tax-free. The thing that's really killing us is that $90,000 a year Gilliam County taxes on that building.
Mhm.
Well, I looked at the taxes. One of the major concerns we have, waste management and those kind of people. And I don't understand what some of the symbols are, but they're paying $200,000 and $300,000 a year for multi-billion-dollar wind towers and all this other stuff, and we're getting charged $90,000 for a building that we're trying to build to keep the community in line.
Okay.
I see where you're coming from and like I say, I appreciate and see where you're at with your frustration on this and I know as a commissioner, I'm not giving up on it, but I really think we just need to concentrate on phase one, the land, the utilities, getting those secured. And I think somehow, just my thoughts, somehow the city or the port is going to have to get involved and try to do this. I don't think any of us disagree that that thing down the road or someday will be an asset. But it's just, and I understand your frustration, but it's just getting to that first part. And we just have some more things I think that we need to look at. And I know I'm planning on reaching out to the city and reaching out to the port. And then maybe I can get a hold with you guys and meet with the board. I don't want to give up on it, but I know you're not hearing what you want to hear today.
It's gotta happen fairly sudden.
Mhm. Okay.
Well, we've reached out to the city and the port already as much as, we can, but until we see something happen, I don't know where we can go.
Okay.
I don't know I need help with that. We need help with that.
Right.
The city's been behind us all along. The port has got a letter in that deal. I just don't, I need help. I need somebody to say, go Rod, go. Here's where we need to go next.
Okay.
The two thoughts I have is Kelley Nonprofit Consulting, there's help. I don't know if you were interested, and that's your choice. And see what the legislative session brings.
Okay.
And I'll reach out to the city and to the port myself as a commissioner and visit with them about it. And I will get a hold of you and the board and see if there's something we can try to keep steering this in the right direction.
So I'm not buried in the ground yet.
I think I had a conversation with you and talked to you about the special projects and using special projects to help make your fundraisers more fruitful instead of, because that, when you look at your profit and loss, like last year, you lost $6,000. But I think the international club uses the special projects to fund their, like, if they're selling donuts, they pay for their donuts and then everything they sell is profit. Instead of having, you've got, 16,000 for your Oktoberfest, but you have 11,000 in costs. So And
Okay,
I would encourage you to reach out for the special projects money, because the North End still had money and we opened it again.
Well, if we're gonna reach out for money, we're gonna have to have the county court behind us. Because that letter you have there from the city was sent in 2016,
17, yeah.
17. I asked for a new letter. Cause I saw that letter. Says nothing really. And it's not here. You know, we got a city council down there. We had a member here. Not here now. There's nobody from down there, so.
Well, I'm gonna get back to you and I'm gonna reach out to those two individual or entities and
Thank you.
see what we can do and I understand where you guys are at right now. It's in a bad way and I don't know, see if we can come up with something.
Okay, well, we just want to get things going for the community and that's,
yes,
it's not for me, it's not for, it's for the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah,
yeah. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. We need to take action. Yeah, we need to take action on the recommendation of the grant committee. If that's the way we're gonna go, which was not to fund at this time.
Okay.
So is there a motion?
If we have a,
Oh,
I don't,
you do not. Motion would be, we,
they normally make a motion.
yeah, to either fund or not fund. And this would be, let me give you a suggested language. It would be,
You just want to make,
to concur with the recommendation of the grant committee for the Woolery Capital Investment Grant. Which is not to fund.
Yeah. You-
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
okay, yeah.
I move that we concur with the grant committee's recommendation for the Woolery for capital investment grant application in the amount of $291,000. Yeah.
Oh, it was 261.
261.
63.
$261,053.
Well, 53.
Right.
And that the project not be funded at this time.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. I hope that Representative Smith can help you, legislature. Because for me, additional funding is gonna go a long way, so that's not all on Gilliam County shoulders. Thank you. All right, the next item on the agenda is consider Tri-County Ambulance Association coverage.
Yeah, this was just in addition to some of the benefits we already offer our employees.
Can you come up? Sorry, I'm gonna have to ask you to come on up.
We do life flight and air med for all of our employees aside from interns and limited part-time. This is just another service that had been discussed around the courthouse. I looked into it. It's $45 an individual. They can cover family members under the age of 21 living in their house. It would fall in line with our renewal process, January 1 for air med and life flight. I don't know if there's any historical why we didn't do it in the past, or I don't know. I know that when I talk to them, their system is a little bit more outdated, so I'm gonna have to work with them to just with the addresses, like their cards may eventually come to the county and then just have to be distributed to the employees at that point. So I don't know if that was a deterrent, because it will be a little bit extra work on my end, but not enough to like justify not doing it, I guess.
I do know that like some of these funds come back to the ambulance services
Yeah,
in the county.
when I talked with both Shannon and Cindy here at South Gilliam Health District, and they said it's a great service that gets utilized quite often, and then it also covers, I think, 50 to 60 other districts within the state of Oregon. So like an example they provided was a patient was transported from Condon to Mid-Columbia and then from Mid-Columbia onto somewhere in the valley. Not that ride was covered from Condon to Mid-Columbia and then all the way on to their next place, everything above what insurance doesn't cover. So
Do we have a rough cost estimate? What
It's
this,
45
so
per.
we have a person, and if at the whole, right now we have 72 people on our payroll, so that comes out to be like 4,000 and something, so it's not a huge expense. It's cheaper than Life Flight and AirMed.
and we're doing live flight and airmed now.
We already do Life Flight and AirMed, yeah, so we cover the air, this is just kind of covering that ground.
This just covers ground.
It's just
transport.
ambulance transportation for emergency
Yeah.
incidents.
Yeah,
I said 72 people.
That's how many people we have on our payroll. I don't process payroll for that much each month, and then some of those aren't gonna get that because there's, like the high school students that work at the
Yeah.
daycare and at the library and stuff aren't eligible, but
We're looking at, I call it only 3,200.
yeah, it's not.
Okay.
For the benefit to our employees does not outweigh the cost to the county by any means, or excuse me, far outweighs the cost to the county. Not.
Commissioner Watkins, do you have any thoughts on it?
I have it and I think it's a great
Mhm.
thing. And the fact that some of that money comes back to the ambulance services that are in the area.
Mhm.
I'm guessing that the employees that live in Arlington, their money would come back to the
Yeah, whatever
North
ambulance
Gilliam
service.
ambulance, yeah.
District had to use that and then was reimbursed by this Tri-County Ambulance Association.
Yeah. And it picks up anything your insurance doesn't cover.
Mhm.
And we get a lot of transports out here, as you guys know, that
Wouldn't be covered. Okay, so we don't have a suggested motion because this just came up, so, we just need a motion to state that.
I move to, have the Tri-County Ambulance Association memberships available to our regular employees. Is that what we need to,
no. just to
FTE.
say the
or do you want all
Eligible.
eligible,
Mhm.
eligible? Okay, eligible employees.
That starts the first of the year.
Yeah,
That's my goal is to push it out to them now and give them 2 weeks to get me the application back and then it'll fall into a January 1 renewal.
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion.
I'll second the motion.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded, to offer Tri-County ambulance service to our eligible Gilliam County employees. Any discussion? And all in favor?
I,
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Thank you.
yeah, I'm just gonna at the end of my report. Yeah.
Okay, next item on the agenda, consider approval of transportation department job descriptions. Todd Blake, come on up.
Hello.
Todd Lake, with Gilliam County Transportation Director. I've given you guys this packet. What we're looking at is we've had in the past a coordinator position and a dispatcher. Now we have a dispatcher and a director. I'd like to reinstate the coordinator position with the understanding that the coordinator or the dispatcher would be hired. It would not be both at the same time. The reason for that is I'm finding that the dispatcher position, as it was written and is still there, is very limited. And it's specifically for just getting the rides communicated. What I'm finding is, the person I have in the position now is doing a lot more work than that for me. And we've adjusted all 3 positions so that they show the specific duties for each position. And I would like to reinstate the coordinator position. It was in the pay scale before. I've got the records for you guys of where it was, where I'd like to reinstate it.
Okay.
so we would leave the dispatcher one.
Available. It would not be filled at this time.
Okay,
The reason being is if the person who's in the coordinator position, which is what I'm hoping to change, if that person were to leave, retire,
that you could go back and utilize your
You
dispatcher.
can utilize the dispatcher position and put somebody in that position that would be ready to learn the basics and work the basics. And then we can consider the move later. But at this time, that person's doing a lot more than, is doing the duties of the coordination.
Yeah.
Description.
Okay. I don't disagree. I think that Eileen has been a great asset and it's doing a lot, so.
And that's why at the same time, I'm letting you know that my plan is to put her, move her from the director, or excuse me, I'll stay the director, move her from the dispatcher to the coordinator position.
Okay. I've heard great things. You have a really stable foundation, and I think you need to reward and place our employees where they're best served.
Yes, and I could not do this without her.
Yeah, good.
She's made it a lot easier for me to get a lot of things done that were needing to be repaired and fixed for the director position. I couldn't do it without somebody taking on the duty she did.
Good. Okay, any other comment, any other input? Okay, there is a suggested motion on item 6.1.
Okay, I move to approve the job descriptions for transportation director, coordinator, and dispatcher as presented.
I will second the motion.
At the union position, is this gonna have to be opened up to all of you? As like you guys talked.
We ran it by, yes, we did that. Yeah. I spoke with the union president
Thank you for that.
on that, so thank you. Yeah, it's always good to be sure.
Yes.
And then the salaries schedule, they want more amending, right? Because they're approved, right?
I'm hoping I got in there.
Is there any ways to amend that motion to also?
Include this change.
Was that always already on
Mhm.
See it on the salary schedule that they provided, but I didn't add it to the 24, 25 salary schedule or representative.
You could add that as a second.
Yeah, we could just add it as a second exhibit to that.
And my understanding is going to go on where the deputy clerk and deputy assessor,
Okay, that's
where it
great.
was before, that's what was removed.
Yeah.
It's on the, yeah, it's on the
It's on the-
salary schedule that we actually approved,
Oh, is it?
isn't it? Wasn't it? On the resolution earlier?
Changes we made on that were was the equipment operator too, and then maybe the means of.
So do we need to amend that and approve with,
I mean, we need to put in that motion,
the-
not salary schedule,
with the salary schedule that is attached?
with this to be attached.
Do you want me to amend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm amending my motion. I move to approve the job description for transportation director, coordinator, and dispatcher, as well as the salary schedule attached. It's effective today. Or
Fine by me.
does it need to be effective to the 1st of December?
I think first.
Okay.
Just today you guys think of that.
Yep.
I don't know if you need to make an amendment to the salary schedule, the resolution, but that's the one.
Oh, which one was that? So
Okay, here's my question. Would it be easy for us to do this on the 18th and fix everything and do it all at once?
we can improve the job descriptions like we
Yes,
just did.
right. And then we can correct the resolution. Let's do that.
Okay, rescind the last motion I made.
Okay,
Back to
your
the
motion is
original.
rescinded. Okay,
There was no second on that one. So.
all right, so we are approving the job description. We'll go ahead and call for another motion. Oh,
Which one was it?
You want me to do
this will
it?
be on the
Go
job.
ahead, I got off that page.
I move to approve the job descriptions for transportation director, coordinator, and dispatcher as presented.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second to move, to approve the job descriptions for transportation director, coordinator, and dispatcher as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, that's okay. Thank you for bringing that up.
Okay. Communication, that, fix that on our end.
I don't know what.
Okay,
Well, you have to approve
the job description previously.
That's true.
Yes,
You're
we
exactly
do.
right. So we can come back with the resolution later. Okay, so we have, where are we here? We are on consider special projects grant for North End fall cycle fiscal year 24-25, Brooklyn Griffith.
Anything additional, if you did have any questions?
Okay, I'm in support of the Arlington Public Library, and the Arlington Saddle Club applications. Those are the two before us. I just would like a condition added for consideration on the Arlington Public Library, since I don't own the building, that the city of Arlington is in support of that. I did see a letter of support, but it's not dated,
Okay.
so. And they're asking for a mural, that's really cool. And the Arlington Saddle Club is for graveling their parking lot.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, there is no date. Okay.
Any thoughts, questions, suggestions? Well, it hasn't been determined. They provided a couple of.
Have you seen the welcome to sisters, welcome to Grants Pass, and it's like, that's the artist they're using, and that's what they're, so it'll say welcome to Arlington, and then with whatever surrounding it, but
Mhm.
it's the welcome to ...
Okay, great. Okay, there is a
Okay.
suggestion.
I move to approve the special project grants for the 2024-25 fall cycle as follows. Arlington Public Library in the amount of $5,753 for the mural. Arlington Saddle Club in the amount of $4,500 for the parking lot.
For a second.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the special projects grants for 2024-2025 fall cycle as stated. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries. I appreciate the fact that the North End special projects grants were opened up because we had some we didn't like, so that's good. That's good.
How much does that leave?
Still a lot in there, well over $200,000.
Oh, wow.
In special projects,
Okay,
and less than 20,000 in them, so.
accumulates every
Yeah,
year.
it just rolls over every year that they don't utilize it, so
Yeah.
it just keeps.
We should publicize that probably just somehow, just so that people are thinking well in advance.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because those, they usually open up like in
We're,
March
yeah, we
normally.
should open
March.
them in March, which is
Mhm.
getting approved by.
Consider capital investment grants for cycle 2 fiscal year 24-25 Brooklyn Griffith. Okay. We have the Arlington School District. This is their housing grant. The recommendation was to partially fund this. They requested $825,000, and there was a recommendation to partially fund at $625,000. Is there any discussion?
Can you tell me why?
That was
what's
less,
the reason?
that was less the garages and the landscaping as we thought were unnecessary items, but now hearing from them and that, which I would just like to verify with the city, that sounds different.
Okay,
But it's a requirement, but that was what the 200 less was for 2 garages and the landscaping.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah, hearing that, I thought the same thing that,
and they fall within their whatever. Percent.
their match, yes, is mainly salary.
Mr. Davidson is a city council member, so I assumed he knew, but we probably should verify that that is a requirement under city code. And if that in fact is true, I would support fully funding. I do also want to say that I've had mixed feelings about public funds or public entities housing. However, our whole goal is to increase housing stock, and that's what this does. And so I have to, think of it holistically that way. This is making more housing. And also the city of Arlington has proven that they can do this because they did it with 2 other houses. The third thing I want to mention is I did ask Mr. Johnson, is this the end of the housing? And he said, yes, this will be it. This is all the land they have. So.
Which I think I said earlier, housing, childcare, and schools are the things that people look at when they're moving into an area.
Right,
In the strategic plan, I mean, as you mentioned, for the county is
Yeah.
heavily in the housing.
right. Do you have any thoughts?
No, they've already been through this process. Sounds like they've tried to set up the previous one for more development. And, like I say, they are facing an interesting situation with possible retirements. And, housing is a big issue.
And they're also looking for a superintendent. They're starting the search there, which is a big one for a school. So having a house for them to go would be important.
And that was, the only difference was the grant committee was, they didn't know that that was required.
Yeah, I think we saw this
Additional.
as just as potential items that we didn't need to cover. $200,000 is a lot of money, so we were just trying to save
Right.
those funds there.
Right.
And then that was just looking at their presented budget, easy ones that we could notice that looked to us as not requirements. I guess it wasn't like bringing water to the sites and pulling utilities
Right.
and the actual modular homes.
Yeah.
So that was our recommendation,
Mhm.
was less because I don't know what well, I think it says on there, the landscaping was what, must have been 50, because the garages were quite.
Yeah, they were.
Like the modular home, 2 modular homes was 320,000, and then 2 garages was 150,000.
Yeah,
And then landscaping was 50,000, so
Well,
we just
it'd
added
be
it.
cheaper for the attached garage than it would be for the detached. Can we approve it? I'm sure that that's
the conditional approval.
yeah, I'm sure that that's, if they're saying it.
For modular homes, the requirement to have.
Yeah.
garages with-
But yeah, it is a requirement.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with approving this grant, so.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the capital investment grant for the 2024-25 cycle 2 as follows: Arlington School District in the amount of $825,000.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2024-25 capital investment grant to Arlington School District in the amount of $825,000 for housing as requested. Is there any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Okay, we are to item 6.4. Consider Arlington Community Child Care Funding Request. Ashley Bayless. Ashley, are you able to speak to us through Zoom? Yep. Right. Are you there, Ashley?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry. Can you hear me?
I know she was on earlier.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we could come back to her.
She's got her hand up.
Oh, she can't. Hold on for just a moment, Ashley.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna bring her up and we'll work on that.
Would that work?
Ashley will come back to you and we're going to switch the agenda and proceed with 6.5, consider advancing funds to SWCD until FEMA funds are distributed. And we're gonna give you all the information on this because this is a new, kind of a sudden, situation, so, which could be a really good thing for us. So,
She said other Zoom members can hear her, we just can't hear her in the courtroom. Okay, so.
When
she starts her video, if she does by video, I think it's the TV must be muted. Everyone else can hear her on the Zoom.
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
Can't hear her in this courtroom, but it has to be muted,
or we get a bunch of feedback.
or we get feedback from,
Can we turn it on just while she's talking?
yeah.
Or can we get her on speaker on the cell phone or something?
Okay, we're gonna see what let's try it. See what we can do. Can you hear okay, Ashley?
Turn that off, here. No, I think that wanted to come out of the.
Joe, would you come fix this?
Madam Prior, we are trying to get someone to speak on the Zoom, but other Zoom participants can hear us, we can't hear her.
She knew we were
So they can hear, they can't hear us, they can't hear, we can't hear her unless we put it on. I don't know why.
Hello?
You there?
We have, but this is not happening. I don't know why she's not coming through. It's very.
Joe's waiting, that's where you change.
They did it on from the TV, I feel like.
Feedback. So, now is the feedback. Ashley, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear. Is that better?
They can hear her, but we can't hear her.
Hang tight, we're working on this. Ashley, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
There. Oh my God. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry for the delay.
Sorry about that. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Ashley, I just wanted to set up for everyone. Ashley Bayless is Arlington Community Child Care. She's going to explain to us that temporary funding has been secured and the steps that the Arlington Community Child Care has gone through and what their request is right now. I do want to let you know that there is $75,000 remaining in the 24-25 operational support grant. But we're going to talk about that. I just needed you to understand where we're at and why those funds were held back is because of some things were going on at the time. So do you want her just to go ahead and start and then you can ask questions, handle it that way? I'll say, go ahead, Ashley.
Okay, so as you all known, we've been closed for about 6 months. There was some things that needed to be done in order for us to open, licensing issues. And so while we have been closed, we've been working on, we've got all of that stuff fixed. We've had all of our inspections that we needed to become a center instead of the certified family home. So now we will be, which is what it's always been, is the certified family home. Now we will be certified center. And so it is not in my name, if that makes sense. Because before, when we had directors, it had to be in that specific person's name. And so this gives the board and the community a little more peace of mind that if a director, let's say I find a new job or whatever, I can leave and the daycare is not going to close. And we have, with being a center, we need staff who is more qualified and has more schooling. And so we are offering and helping to get the people that we already had employed up to par. And I am currently enrolled. I'm just finished my fall term, so I'm getting up there as well, but I do qualify as the director right now. And so we're just making improvements such as that. And so we have a lot of people who want to come work here now. I have a stack of applications, which is great. It was really hard beforehand to find staff. And then we had no money coming in for these 6 months. So we've still been paying the bills, and we had to fix our playground. Gravel was not the correct amount and stuff like that. I am organized I have a packet full of all of our receipts and everything dated. So we've been cleaning house, and we've been working closely with Kelley Nonprofit Group to help organize our QuickBooks and all of our information. So that's been a really helpful tool. And we are now officially licensed and open. We have 2 kids enrolled currently. We have 2 other kids, actually 4 other kids that their parents just picked up enrollment forms. So we are hoping to get more soon. So spread the word. We also have what was I going to say? I'm so sorry, I lost my train of thought. We have, is there any questions so far? As now I'm thinking it might.
So your licensing is temporary until December 31st, is that correct?
Yes. And so
Okay.
if our licensor is not able to come back up here, then she will extend that temporary. She said our facility is all great. She just wants to see how we interact with the kids and day to day, just to make sure. And then paperwork stuff, like employee files and all of that. She just wants to see how we are going about that.
Once you're open, that's why there's a temporary licensure, and then you'll get permanent licensure at that point.
Yes. And so she gave us that temporary so we could finally open and have kids. And we have been open for 2 weeks. Well, this will be our 2nd week. And so we're just trying to get the word out right now that we are accepting kids. And then she said also, because we are a center, if we get full with 16 kids, we can just reach out to her and tell her we need more spots available, and she will give us as many spots as can fit legally within our building. And so we can add more kids as we need to. But we just started with the 16 with what we had just to be safe, and so we could just get open, and that's just $5 extra per spot, I believe. And so that's all that would entail later on, which I'm hoping that's the case.
So 16 is your maximum that you'll be able to have right now?
At one time. So we can enroll more. It just depends on their schedules. But at one time, we could only have 16 kids all at once.
How many do you guys have now in the last 2 weeks?
So we have 2. And then we have 4 potential that just got papers to enroll their children. I think They might be starting by the end of the week. So that would be 6 altogether so far, not including my own little girl.
Okay. All right.
Great, I'm glad to hear.
Me too. Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. We really appreciate the whole community being as patient and backing us up too. It's great to hear that everyone's really excited. And
Can you tell us your hours?
yes, so we changed our hours to fit better with the community, and I am like willing to work with whoever needs care. But right now we're open 5:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Wow.
And we can
That's really
adjust
nice.
those as needed as well. I think it's best to do with what the community needs at this point. That's what we're here for. So
And this is just childcare because the school offers preschool. Is that correct?
correct. So we do have to have like some sort of curriculum planned, but that can be just that's just with center rules. So it's not super structured and disciplined, but we will have crafts that we have to have planned and stuff like that.
Okay, did you have a question? Brooklynn, the
Just
finance
to
director,
make
had
a
a
comment
question.
as well that the prior court administration had asked for certain like benchmarks to be met to be able to distribute the funds for the prior fiscal year grant. And you guys have done that. I mean, they changed their fiscal year. They've gotten a new accounting program. As you mentioned, Kelley nonprofit is in there helping them with their financials. I think the only other thing was having a true bookkeeper, but Ashley is taking those duties on at this time. And then it was just to be the discretion of the court to divvy out the remaining of those funds, which as Chris mentioned was 75,000. I think you guys have, as Ashley mentioned this ago, have hit a lot of those requested items that are written into the grant agreement for the 23-24 that they have.
And what we're asking right now, what we need that money for is to basically get us back up on our feet, pay the staff that we have so we can keep good staff, as well as like even me, I haven't been getting a paycheck these last couple paychecks, and I'm not going to run out and leave it, you know? So we really just need this daycare to be here for the community. And as well as having this money, we can cut the tuition in half. I feel comfortable doing that as well. So there's more affordable daycare. And so people aren't having to choose work or daycare at this time.
I like that. That's great.
So if we gave that 75,000 that was promised now and reevaluate after the first of the year when your temporary license is up, would that get you guys to the end of the year?
I am very hopeful that it will. I believe it will. We had big ticketed items come out when we weren't open, like our insurance that we needed to have for the board and officers, as well as the facility, and then our maintenance stuff and the bills. Just so it's basically just getting us back up on our feet, and then having the money come in from the families as well, the clients. I think that would really help us out, and I think that would definitely get us to the first of the year.
Okay, and 75,000 would do that.
Yeah, I believe it would.
Okay. So just as a point of clarification, we're talking about their other requests
Yes.
too. So I would just suggest monitoring where they're at with the 75, and then make sure the lines of communication are open to have access to your financials to see where you're at in case there's a further request of funds beyond the 75.
Absolutely.
After the end of the year.
Yeah.
So does that make sense?
Well, that clears out that grant,
Mhm.
75. If they came back in the fiscal, or the new calendar year, that's when, this fiscal year application would come into play. If you guys haven't reviewed that or approved that necessarily, that would be my only.
I think originally we approved it to 230,000.
No,
We
the,
didn't
We
approve
just
it
put it
during the.
aside, just waiting for all of this to get ironed out.
kind of
Mhm.
earmarked up to 220, which was the remainder of the million for the operational support.
Okay.
And then once we like really dug in and watched hours of court meetings, we thought to go back and utilize the remainder of this FY 23 grant, which was about 75. And they could wait, or we just reconsider our application after January, because the grant committee hasn't reviewed Ashley's application yet that she submitted.
Because those funds wouldn't come in until August on the new grant. So I think we just reevaluate the new grant after they get permanent licensure and see where we're at, and that'll be after into 25.
Well, we still have in the budget, the 220,000 for their application that they submitted for 24.
Yeah.
So that could be reviewed again before next fiscal year.
Right.
For approval.
Mhm.
Just mean it hasn't gone to the grant committee for recommendation, and the court hasn't approved that 24-25.
Correct. I'd like to see permanent licensure before we consider it, but
Get it to the
yeah.
grant committee.
Mhm.
I want to see, like you mentioned, how the next couple months go as far as
Mhm.
their payroll and if they're getting more students and reviewing the application.
So meanwhile, do we need a motion to release the
Yeah.
remainder of the
Remainder, it would be-
23-24 grant
And
cycle?
they're desperate to need the money because we're actually going to take, as long as this were happening today, make a bank restore and transfer into their account today. That's how they've needed us to take action here, so.
I move to release the remainder of the portion of the 23-24 grant cycle of 75,000 to the Arlington childcare.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to release the 23-24 $75,000 grant to the Arlington Child Care, which is the remaining amount. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi. Ashley, thank you for everything you've done. Childcare is so important and I appreciate your efforts and good luck keeping communication. I really like hearing the fact that you're going to reduce tuition with some of this money. I think that really helps families.
Yes,
Thanks.
thank you so much. We're really excited.
Yeah, okay. Come on out, long wait.
All right, good morning.
Hey.
Herb Winters, Gilliam, SWCD District Manager. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. I believe Anya has a presentation on me, but I can give us an update.
The FEMA one or the?
FEMA one.
Okay. Share the screen.
So first off, I would like to thank Chris Fitzsimmons and Corey Michael for helping us muddle through the FEMA grant process and the nuances of it. It's new to us. We are used to dealing with the United States Department of Ag and Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board. So FEMA is just kind of a new agency to deal with. So what we're talking about today is a hazard mitigation grant program, post-fire grants. And correct me if I screw this up, Corey, but the county will apply for this post-grant money, and we can apply as a sub-applicant to that. And through that, we would need to develop an IGA. And I just wanted to go over the proposals today, what we are hoping to accomplish. One is planning and the other is for project work for the Lone Rock Fire recovery. If there's no questions, I can get into the presentation. Okay. Okay, so like I mentioned, we have two proposals, pre-applications, I guess is what they're called, that we submit to OEM. One is for wildfire resource planning and the other one is for fuel reduction vegetation management project. We can go to the next one, please. So our resource planning application, what we're hoping to do is mimic what we did back in 2018 with the, I think it's called the Stubblefield Fire, but it was out in Ferry Canyon. We were able to get some funding through the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board to develop basically a GIS mapping data sets for firefighters. And so that was a really good project. And I'll show some examples here in a second. But what in this proposal, we'd like to expand that out. And that one, it was just the Berry Canyon watershed, and we'd like to expand that project out to the rest of the county. Which would be a pretty large endeavor, really, but we think it would be valuable. So it's really working with our landowners, resource mapping, working with the all the different agencies and making sure we can get these maps in folks' hands. One big thing that we kept hearing over and over again from the Lone Rock Fire is the contractors that were going out there were getting really poor maps. They didn't know where they're going. You already can't see where you're going in the middle of fire. So that really hindered the fire response. So we think this product could help. Next one, please, Anya. So these are just a couple examples of what we did in Ferry Canyon, and that's the watershed boundary in the red. We worked with all the landowners, or most of the landowners out there, to map all the water resources, the roads and gates, so we can keep folks from, fences getting tore out if possible. Then also we worked with all the landowners to see all the green dots on the far right to let us know what structures they would like to be protected, just so that resources might not be sent somewhere else. Or it's an old barn or something that no one is super concerned about. Next one, please, Elaine. So you can't see anything on this yet, but this is the end product of this that we basically handed out to firefighters after we finished. And if you go to the next one, we can zoom in on the just the legend. This is where all the gates are, the structures, and then we classified the available water, which how many gallons are there and how they could access that water. And then also what the roads and things were like to help with fire response. Next one, please.
What is DRS?
That's a township ranging section.
Okay.
And so that's just another way they can help navigate. But you can see the purple dots through the canyons that are rough roads. You can see old buildings and things and what the locals actually call them or identify them as. So this is just an example of what we'd like to accomplish throughout the rest of the county. The next one, please. Again. So here's the other proposal where we want to get some work done on the ground, take advantage of this opportunity, this grant opportunity. This will be just basically a comprehensive wildfire risk mitigation strategy. It's going to be juniper, forest stand improvements, cheatgrass or annual grass, chemical treatments, and then also some virtual fencing things. If we could go to the next one, please, Anya. I'll just quickly go over the statement of work. Like I said, 3,000 acres of juniper that we would like to target with this, 15,000 acres of annual grasses, 500 acres of biomass removal. That's how FEMA words it. We call it forest stand improvement in our office. And then strategic grazing. This is basically to do something similar to what the county invested with the virtual fencing to expand our network. And I should have mentioned at the beginning, after this presentation, I would like to give a quick update on the virtual fencing and let you know about a presentation we'd like to do next slide, please. Let's get into the budgets and timelines. This is just real quick. The planning proposal is roughly $200,000. Just to break down a little bit of the rough budgets that we have so far, 20% for salaries, wages, benefits, and then the rest contracted services for our technical experts. The project proposal is $1.7 million. 2% of basically just managing those projects, and the rest is contracted services. So this would be like juniper guys cutting down juniper or getting equipment out to do the timber thinning or helicopters for the annual grass. The required match is 25% or about $480,000. We will not be asking the county for any funding on this. We will be using our in-kind match for this grant if it's awarded by selected by OEM and then potentially funded by FEMA. But our match funder will primarily be the Oregon Watershed Enhancement Board. We have already submitted 2 proposals to match this proposal to OWEB for approximately $350,000. So we're already on our way there. I feel very confident that we can do those.
You can match it, the in-kind, you're gonna be able to do that, okay.
And then real quick on the timeline, next please. So notification of selection by OEM is the 2nd of January. We would submit full applications, sub-applications February 3rd. Nearest I can tell from their schedules, the period of performance means when your project could start and end, starting in April 25 and ending roughly in 29 with extensions available up to 32. But I don't see something like this taking that long. Pretty standard work, probably 3 to 4 years tops, I think. Next slide, please. This is where we're at. We've been working with Corey and Chris on, an IGA. We believe we have to have an IGA with the county on this before the sub-application is submitted, I believe. If it is selected with this, the pre-application is selected, right? It's kind of complicated, but it is a reimbursement-based award, and something that we were hoping to talk with the county about is, here's an example project that if and this is fairly typical, but this is probably on the larger end of it. These kind of scenarios come in and a producer does all this work for $345,000, and it takes FEMA, I don't know how long, a month or 2 to give the money back to the conservation district. We would have a really hard time coming up with that cash. And so this is where we would ask if the county would consider, this all in, if we are successful with these grant proposals, if the county would consider, advancing us funds if a large project like this were to come through. We could try to schedule our projects to be much smaller to avoid something like that, but it's so much easier on the contracting side of things and everything else to do one big project here and one big project there instead of 10 or 12 and smaller.
So you're only asking that the expense was incurred, but you're waiting for reimbursement for FEMA. You're just asking for the county to
yes, if we
fund
could
it
put in,
until you get the reimbursement.
yeah, if we could create a mechanism for that to be a possibility.
As these components or projects are done.
And that's all. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
So the county must be a grant recipient. Is that correct?
That is
Okay, so then the purpose of the IGA is to pass the grant funds through to you to manage fully. There would be no match on the county's part. The only thing you would be asking for is approval to apply for the grant, the IGA, and then the consideration of funding, providing interim funding until FEMA funds come through on a reimbursement basis. So is that the 3 things?
Yes.
Do you have any?
So the
I don't think
FEMA
anything-
funds are gonna come through the county anyway.
Yes.
If we forwarded it to you, then it would come to us.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is my question is, how do we?
Do we
if they
have the
get
cash
that?
flow?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, we kind of front loaded the virtual fencing, but I guess how do we properly do that?
Budgeting
or
and
budget?
comply with an audit.
Yeah,
Yeah. These funds wouldn't come through until when?
Potentially 18 months, I think, is that so right?
oh, okay,
So we can budget for this.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I was.
So we have a means to
Time.
set something up to do
Yes.
this, okay,
Mhm.
that was my concern.
What are you thinking, Leah?
Yeah, I think we can just make sure we
Make sure we have
have that when we do the budget.
Yes, we'll need to budget for it. I had another thought too. We get priority funding because of the specific fires that occurred in Oregon. So we have a really good chance of getting this money, and I think it'd be a good use of the money.
And on top of that, if we're successful, this is federal money that we can use again for match. So like with the juniper cutting, if we're successful with the FEMA money, we can go to the state and, ask even 1-to-1, they have $50,000 for that, we get $50,000 from the state and just keep leveraging their money.
Wow, that'd be great.
That's great.
So I think that's our goal.
Mhm. Okay. So today, what do we need?
I was just hoping to put all this information in front of you today. I think that it would be great if we could have an IGA put in place before the sub applications are due.
So we can send this to legal. It's gone through your legal, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we would need to send it through our legal. And
And
then,
what was the timeline? It was January.
January 2nd, I
Okay.
believe.
okay.
And maybe
So as long as we
February.
get it back and
That's
approve it.
The sub applications start January 2nd and are due February 3rd.
Okay.
Okay,
So and our pre-applications just were due this last Monday. So we should be finding out within this month if our pre-applications were accepted. And then our sub applications start on January 2nd.
okay. Right.
So we could hopefully tell our legal that we need this back by our second meeting in
Did we send it
December.
yet? We already sent it, so
Okay.
good. Thank you. All right, so it's in the works. So is there any motions we need or anything like that at this point until we get the IGA back? Okay, all right, good. I hope we
great.
get it.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I did send Anya, and I know we're getting late in
It's
the
okay,
day,
no,
but
you're fine.
I did send Anya another presentation, or I can just give a quick update on where we are with the virtual fence program. Either way.
Sure, just
How long is
quick
that, 5
update.
minutes?
I'll just do a quick update.
Oh,
Anya has this would take me a while.
She can forward it to us, but just give us the.
Yep.
Perfect.
So, basically, we have been running and gunning since support was so gracious to help us out in getting our virtual fence program off the ground. We were able to order our 10 towers. We ordered 10 trailers, and the trailers were all shipped to Pendleton, and one of our staff members have been going back and forth trying to get the trailers. All the towers came together on 8 different pallets, and then we started putting them together. And with the help of Kent Anderson, putting all the towers onto these trailers so they're now portable for our producers. And then we also involved the FFA students at Condon High School, and they started building what are called the huts, which hold all of the components inside these virtual fence towers. And I think they had a really great time
Great.
just doing that. And then we also
Those sit on the trailers too? now?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, and then we also did a presentation to the kids, kind of like, this is why we're doing this, and this is what the need was, and also showing how we help members of our community, following a disaster. And so we have 3 operational towers to date. We have 2 herds of animals with collars out utilizing grass that they wouldn't have been able to utilize without this program. We're going to be adding another herd in January, and
How many cattle?
we're up to 200 cows as of now,
Okay.
300 by the end of January,
Hmm.
and we'll probably be close to 1,000 by hopefully March.
It's about 100 a trailer.
So, yeah, I mean,
Give or
it
take.
depends, like
Yeah.
it depends on really just the coverage of the trailer. Like
Okay.
if there's a trailer out on Mayville Flat, you can really have a lot of cows utilizing that one trailer. And so it's exciting. What was really exciting is a couple of weeks ago, we had two of the producers that have been learning how to do this. And they both came in on different days, and we're just so excited and so grateful. And they're just able to use this technology, and it was just smiles all across, and just
Oh, 3 generations
yeah,
of
very
using the
yeah,
technology.
very
Mhm.
exciting. And you know, there are other producers that are like, I saw the cattle with the collars on the side of the county road. We need to talk about that, you know, and so I really think that this is, like we were hoping, this could be a, you know, a really big change for the county. And the county is paving the way, in Oregon on this right now. So thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thanks for your effort. No cows missing yet.
Well, I have an interesting story, funny story, I guess. One of the herds, had, gotten out, well, actually they noticed they were out and they were far away. And so, they all loaded up to go get the cattle in. And where they were at was another hired hand that was living, you know, nearby. And they're like, oh, why are you guys coming out here? I'm like, well, the cows are out. He's like, well, I didn't know that. And well, we did, because we could see it on the computer. And, you know, then this gentleman lived right next to that pasture and hadn't noticed that they were out yet. And so those are just the little things that, are really over time really gonna save a lot. And then whatever, all the things that we have planned in that presentation, you'll look at it. And again, I would like to come back, with the FFA students,
yes.
And our producers. And we've been documenting this whole process from the very beginning, to tell the story, because we think it's really special.
Great.
So,
Great.
hopefully, I think I talked with Anya about getting on the January meeting.
Oh, okay.
So.
Sure.
we'd
And
like
do
to
that
come
at the January meeting, what
Yes,
you just suggested.
If we would like that. we'd
Sure.
be happy to.
Sounds great.
Too. Well, Condon's here.
Thank you for your efforts.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Herb. Thank you very much. Okay, you waited a long time. Fair Winds Consulting. I'm gonna go ahead and set this up. You may or may not need to come up. I will just start the conversation, and if it starts involving you, then we'll. Okay, all right, so, yeah, okay, so the town halls. I took what Commissioner Watkins said about how do we do this?
Yeah.
So
Have it be
in
constructed.
Cape
Yeah.
Cory, one day, and so I started brainstorming with her about how we could set up our town halls. And when we call it a town hall, I think a lot of times we think, oh, well, that's like, you know, when our congressmen come. What I see is actually utilizing some information we gleaned from this to build our budget, find out what the community's needs are, and maybe eventually work on some strategic planning, but have a structured procedure with a neutral person leading us to the end of the time. We have some goals that we came out of this with, but we're allowing everybody to have a voice, just not a few people. Allow potentially some written comment, people who can't be there, some virtual comment, but also for those people who are there, that there's a structure for them to consider it a useful time for them. So we have the two town halls, January 15th, 25 in Condon, and that's at 6 o'clock, and February 11th at 6 o'clock in Arlington. So just in order to maximize citizen participation and the best interest of all of us and all citizens, I thought I would propose a contract with Fair Winds Consulting to facilitate it for us. And that would cover both sections. This is just one idea. I'm not married to any idea. It's just one way to go about this. Do you have any thoughts?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Cory has good, strong ties on both ends of the county. She's trusted, she's known. There's not gonna be people looking at her going, who is this telling us what to do in our county? She's from here. I just think it's worth a try to see how this goes. And it might end up, the way I see it, we're gonna start. And if we do this annually, and I'm taking what Wally Powell said at our budget committee meeting, saying we should have town halls and find out what, you know, what is the pulse of the community? We hear things individually, but we're not getting all the voices. We won't get all the voices this way either, but we're creating a forum for communication. So.
I think it sounds great. Yeah, I think
Okay,
Corey's a right one to drive this.
Is there
and,
anything you want to add about any thoughts or?
Well, Judge, I sent you a proposed, structure, kind
Mhm.
of doing it. I used it to run a meeting for Arlington for the Chamber of Commerce.
Mhm.
And it's called a World Cafe, where basically you have have an introduction from the judge and the commissioners, about 15-20 minutes, and then 5 minutes of setting up. And then we split everyone into 5 groups and have them go around and have a question that the court would like answered at each table. And it can be like, one option is like county court, and then you say, what's going well, ideas for improvement. And this is a way for you guys to find out, like, oh, we really like this about our county court, but hey, we want better communication, so you should put more stuff in the newspaper. So it's an opportunity for people to not only say like what's not, what they don't like, it's to say, this is how you could reach us better. And then have, I sent in the proposal, some questions I had come up with. I am open to anything. And then it just gives everyone an opportunity, because sometimes you have really loud voices and you have really shy voices, that if we split into smaller groups, we might get some more information. And then we can have people even write stuff down on sticky notes in addition to having a conversation about it. So if you have someone in the back who wants to say something, but they're worried about what others might say, they can just write it down, stick it up, and not have to have an open conversation. So my idea would be to do the exact same meeting in Condon and the exact same meeting in Arlington. That way, if people can't make the Arlington one, they can go to Condon, and if they can't go to Condon, they can go to Arlington one, as well as being easier for the different community members. And then I also have a Survey a Monkey account, so we can publish, if we choose to go the question route, the questions in the newspaper a week or 2 ahead of time. That way, if people can't attend the meetings, they could give their input either on paper and bring it maybe to the county offices, or if they want to do a Survey Monkey survey with their phone, they could provide their input ahead of time. That way, even those who are unable to make the meetings would be able to provide their input.
I think it's great, and I like that idea, and it takes us out of the loop of trying to run it, get it set up, and we can concentrate on just hearing more input and stuff. So
for each of us, we can't communicate together out of the meeting, but I hope each person can communicate any ideas you would have for topics and things you want to cover while we're there by communicating with you directly. How's that sound?
Works great for me.
Okay.
Anya has my email, and I can also send them a email with the proposal in it, and my proposed questions to.
And maybe it'd be better to go through Anya too. I just want to make sure that you two know.
Yeah,
whatever you think we should discuss, all of us have an equal say.
And my thought was that if the reason behind 5 tables is it keeps the work session to 60 minutes, because you have 10 minutes at each table and a little bit of transition time. And sometimes it works better at each question, at each section where you have a question, to have a facilitator. And my current idea would be for each of the commissioners and the judge to each be at a table, and Anya has volunteered, and either myself or someone else from the county to be at the 5th. That way, every single person attending the meeting gets face time with each commissioner and the judge. So while it's about the topic that you guys are interested in, we can also have a parking lot, so you can have a notepad to write up, oh, well, this isn't this table, but this is good notes, so thank you for bringing this up, we will record it here. And hopefully get some really good actionable information out of it.
And back to one of the prior agenda items and I said, I think it was too soon. I think does Arlington need a community center? I mean, that could be, I'm not saying it will be a question, but that's some information that we can get from a town hall like this. And find out what the majority of the people
What is
want.
people's priority?
Yeah, what are their priorities? So.
And then at the end, have about a 30-minute just open question and answer session for anyone to bring up topics that weren't addressed already, so that you get that traditional town hall at the end, and that work session in the center to help kind of guide the county.
Yeah, good.
sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was my main concern, that it didn't turn into a yelling fest or criticism.
Yeah, and I was glad that it kind of just flowed here before you came in. I thought
Want to be
this
proactive.
would be a way
So you'll get the opportunity for that in the end, Commissioner, but we'll at least get a work session.
Right.
I might need to leave 10 minutes early.
Okay, there is a suggested motion in the briefing, to enter into a contract if we're comfortable with that. $2,500, is that what it was?
And it's capped at that, Judge, because if it's up to hours. So if we don't use all those hours, because it included 2 meetings, a meeting in Condon, a meeting in Arlington, and based on the results of those meetings, if you guys wanted to have 2 additional meetings. So it has room in there that if you decide you need more, we can add it on without needing a new contract. But if you don't need to use the full amount, then we don't have to use the full amount.
Okay. All right.
You okay, Leah?
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I move to approve the contract with Fairwinds Consulting LLC for services related to the town hall meetings as presented.
Do we want to say that not to exceed?
$2,500.
Yeah, not to exceed.
No, not to exceed 2,500. Okay, not to exceed $2,500.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract with Fairwinds Consulting LLC for services related to town hall meetings as presented, not to exceed $2,500. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks,
Excited to
Cory.
work with you.
Yes.
All right, okay. So a list was created of, we're gonna have more housekeeping items for the beginning of the year at the next meeting, for 25, but we wanted to start with, I've been here for 6 months now and just kind of list all of the departments and then talk about assignments for some of the, for the second part of the briefing page. So take off the fairgrounds, that doesn't need any, assignment as far as, a person designated, but we did want to.
Yeah, because it has its own board.
It has its own board, but.
And I think right now that, Chris is overseeing Sammy's.
Okay, do you think we need to designate anybody like you as the liaison for the court or just not even include that?
And then actually, and the library has its own board too.
Right.
But I think I have been just over approving Mary's time and time off. And
So what I was thinking, and tell me if you disagree with this, since I'm here in the building, I have no problem with family and senior services, juvenile, the courthouse person for library, maintenance, planning, and transportation. But let's just open it up and talk about it, because I know your passion's health and medical and public health, Leah, and I thought if you wanted to continue with that,
yeah,
would you?
yes.
How do you feel about the rest of what I said? Do you want?
I would like to stay on the transportation and the public health.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good with me. I just didn't want to throw more at you than you had the capacity to deal with. So, okay, so you're gonna keep transportation and you're gonna keep public health. And then Grant's gonna take road and weed. Is that correct?
Okay.
It's a big one. Okay. Okay, all right. So, any other thoughts on that?
So it would be you on the maintenance and planning.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Family and senior services, juvenile, maintenance, library, or excuse me, yeah, and planning. And I do realize the library has a board, it's just there's somebody here that would be a contact.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times Mary will just walk up to my office and
Okay.
at certain times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would like, I need to go probably attend a board meeting or two
Mhm.
on their end, find out when they are.
Okay, so do we have any further discussion before a motion? And this will be designation for 25. I think we should probably just do this for the one calendar year and just include this type of thing on the year-end housekeeping agenda. So.
Very more. Yeah, you good.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion. I move to assign county court liaison to 9 departments as follows. Judge Patno to 1 through 6. Can I just say that?
Oh, take one off. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
You would say.
Let me say it. Okay.
Departments, because we took the third round.
8 departments,
Yeah.
which will include family, senior services, juvenile, library, maintenance.
No, not library. Is it, I'm approving.
You want to do?
Library has a board and I've been approving Mary's.
Oh, okay.
You can take library, public. Let's start over. Sorry.
All right.
Leah will be 4, 8, and 9.
Yes.
Okay, and Grant will be 7, and I'll be the rest.
Okay. All right, let me try this again.
Okay.
I move to assign the county court liaison to the following departments as specified. Judge Patno to family and senior services, juvenile, maintenance, and planning. Road and weed to Commissioner Wilkins. And library, transportation, public health to Commissioner Watkins.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to assign county court liaisons to 8 Gilliam County departments as follows. Judge Patno will cover family and senior services, juvenile, maintenance, and planning. Commissioner Wilkins will cover road and weed department. Commissioner Watkins will cover library, transportation, and public health for the 25 calendar year. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. All right, legal counsel. Again, been at this position for 6 months. I appreciate the slate of legal counsel that we have. However, they're busy. They are very busy. And we've had a lot of questions. On one hand, we've had a lot of questions because of everything's new and there's a lot going on right now that we need legal advice on. But we've had slow response and a lot of reminding, and there's a lot of anxiety that comes with that when you need solid legal advice quickly. And so I just want to throw out the idea of proposing soliciting proposals for legal counsel and see what we come back with. To see if we can go out. The advantages are, I think we have a great procurement is very good. I think it's solid. I think the contracts, we get good legal advice on the contracts for the most part. But it would be nice to have somebody that we could have here with us in the meetings. So general counsel that we could call upon, and we all have access that really understands our culture. Legal counsel that we have are from somewhere else. And I think it just might end up being the nature of the beast because it's hard to find, but they're a long ways away. So do you have any objection of soliciting proposals for legal counsel?
Do we need, so my thoughts are sometimes it seems like in the past, because I went back, when I became a commissioner, I went back and watched all the meetings clear back. I felt like sometime the legal counsel inserted themselves into the meeting instead of just being, you know, and.
Right. Yeah, and that doesn't mean every meeting, it's just there's times when we could actually move something forward if they were here right now that we could say, what do you think about this?
If we are looking at the agenda and think there could be an issue.
As needed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. I would not be opposed to that, but I don't think having one at every single meeting
Mhm.
and the extra costs that
Yeah.
come along with that. And hopefully they don't insert themselves
Right.
into the.
And I think you could, they will be working for us and we can explain, we need to just clarify that we're running the meeting. If we have a question, we'll ask and just set up the protocol. So.
Well, it sounds like I say some of our needs are not getting met.
Mhm.
And, yeah, I'm totally open to
And
this
we're
too.
gonna we also are gonna have a lot going on the energy front and some potential abatement programs, and I wanna have solid foundation before we start, with some good legal advice in that way.
I'm okay with it.
And this is just discussion, nothing, but are you prepared for us to go ahead and solicit some proposals?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can go ahead and do that. The last regular item is, Donald Jameson approached me about an airport courtesy car at the Condon Airport. So I'm bringing it to you. And what he is.
I had somebody ask me, so the car goes out for one pilot, what do we do about the next pilot? that
Yeah.
comes in? And the other thing is, so I'm like, so our transportation department is going to be right up there by the airport. Is there
Can we
any
just do
issue
that?
with them just going up, picking up the pilot and taking them downtown and like they do people in Condon?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to run that by Todd, but see if
I haven't
that's-
talked to him about it, but that's a possible alternative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're like 2 minutes away from the airport when that
When the bus bar gets open. Yeah.
is. Are you on there, Todd?
I am. I was. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I was approached at one point by the city manager of this idea. And we could either do it out of the, I think the idea of us providing transport would work. I think that the problem is as was stated, the concern is if we put a vehicle up there, there's the concern of what happens if one takes it and somebody else needs it. The other problem is the maintenance of that vehicle that's up there. I think the idea of us providing transport, as long as they call ahead and let us know that they're coming, we can do that.
What about off hours?
Yeah.
Off
well,
hours would be
who's-
tough. Off hours would be tough. We'll have to discuss that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, who's gonna fuel it, check the oil, who's gonna,
Yeah.
I mean, they used to have one up there but it was always no jalopy. It just sat around.
Well, I guess one of my thoughts too is I'm always thinking of trying to, the legal,
Mm-hmm.
the guy has a pilot license, but not a driver's license. I mean, not that he would, but you still have to think about those things and if we can deal with this with the transportation being closer up there too. I mean, are we really talking that much? I mean, need for it? I mean, I'm sure
I don't
it
know.
comes up, but I don't know. But I think for the amount that is maybe needed that,
And then is Arlington gonna want a courtesy car?
yeah, I think we just, go with, Todd, make sure that they give him ample warning and
Okay.
let's go that route, I would think.
Well, it sounds like they would be calling in and reserving and anyway.
Okay, I
Right.
will get back to the community member who proposed this and just tell him we discussed this and we talked about with morning transportation could, at least according to their schedule, provide the transportation rather than providing a car, and we'll see what they say, and if the person still wants to come back to county court, we haven't made any.
Cause like, what are the instances when they land and they wanna go down and get something to eat and then
Right.
get back on the plane and fly out
or for whatever business they're doing when they fly in.
because the most time when I see them, they come flying in, drop the people off and fly
Mhm.
right back out.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, if transportation's right there, I mean, that might be an alternative. So, okay. That's all I have on the regular agenda. The next meeting is December 18th, 10 o'clock a.m. at the Gronkos Building in Arlington. And the meeting following that is January 8th, 2025, 10 o'clock a.m. here at Young County Courthouse. Okay, commissioners' comments. I know Commissioner Wilkins had something to tell us about Norfolk.
Is Sheriff Bencourt still on or not?
I'm sorry, what?
Is Sheriff Bencourt still on or?
Yes.
I am still.
Oh, good. Thanks, Gary. Yeah, I just wanted to give the court some information. You were at the meeting that I was, the last meeting, about the funding questions, and do you want to go first? Just talk about it a little bit.
I can. So shortly after the budget cycle started, so August, September, the Norcor board was concerned about Norcor budget. And so they came up with the idea to propose a levy, which at the meeting that Commissioner Wilkins is talking about, the 4 sheriffs were polled. And none of us feel that we could ask our citizens under the current management situation to be in favor of a levy. Hood River County just passed a public safety levy and told, their Hood River County citizens that this covers or assists public safety. And then for them to come back and ask for a jail levy, they didn't think they could do that. So I think that idea went by the wayside. But that doesn't fix the financial issues of Norcor. And so the reason, and what I've talked to Commissioner Wilkins about, is that facility opened in 1999 with an adult facility and a juvenile facility. Currently, our facilities are deteriorating, as a lot of government facilities do. Maintenance is low on the priority list, as is some of our schools and different things over the years. That happens. But, our door systems are failing, our phone system's failing, our computer system is old and being held together. The sheriff's office, Gilliam County Sheriff's Office, has radios, portable radios on loan there because of their radio system. And I could go on and on. The main thing we've been trying to get fixed is the roof for several years. And I've always maintained that the 4 counties are putting money into a juvenile facility that is not utilized by the 4 member counties. Gilliam County, I'll just use that as an example because that's what I know about, puts in just under $60,000 a year into the juvenile facility. And our juvenile director would have to provide the data, but from my knowledge, we rarely house a juvenile there. If we do, it's only for a couple days. I know that Sherman County does not house juveniles there, nor does Wasco County, unless there's extreme circumstances or no other options. Hood River County does utilize it. However, in talking to Sheriff English and the juvenile director there, the amount of bed days that Hood River has, they'll have 10 to 15 juveniles in there throughout the year. And you could actually contract those beds outside the community and save a lot of money. So I guess my point is the juvenile side contracts beds, and for juveniles outside our area, with Kojak and the Oregon Youth Authority. So Norcor and Gilliam County, being a member county, takes on the liability of housing these individuals. CIS sent out I can't remember, a signal message the other day about jail costs, jail liability, those kinds of things. And if they have any medical issues or any accusation of abuse or anything like that, the 4-member counties take on that liability. And I'm in disagreement with the current management of the juvenile facility continuing to be in operation. There are other uses that we have thought of for that facility. We're still doing the research on that, so nothing concrete on that. Anyway, I just think that money, it's not going to save Gilliam County any money because we're still going to need to put in that $60,000 to build our maintenance fund for the other side. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know that it's been on the table before and got shot down. And so I just kind of wanted to give my comments about that today.
Okay. How much did they spend on the juvenile side, Gary? Do you know?
I just saw that. I have that here. Where's my budget? I think it looked like here, where was it? I thought I had it broken down. Sorry, I don't.
Well, Commissioner Wilkins is looking for that. I know they were hoping through this levy to get about $1.5 million for that. And by sheriff's computation, we could save that much if that was shut down. Some of the argument has been that you still have your maintenance costs, you still have all those costs. So my retort to that is, you know what? Rent it, lease it to Kojak and the Oregon Youth Authority, because I guarantee you that right now their contract bed rate is not the actual cost of what it's costing to run that facility. And I would bet that they would turn it down.
So, and just to reiterate what Sheriff Betancourt said, yeah, I was going to that meeting thinking that we were gonna really looking to try to go for a tax levy just because of the shortfall, the condition of the building. But with what's happened, like he said, with Hood River, I don't think this is a good time to go to the taxpayers. Down the road, I think this could be something that's coming, but the other thing was, I think they were talking about, correct me if I'm wrong, a 6% across the board. I thought they were going to try to do a cut on some of the stuff at Norcor.
Yeah.
At the end of that meeting.
And it's always been agreement that we're going to maintain 100 beds in that adult facility for the 4-member counties. And to do that, if we were to cut funding and to maintain those 100 beds for Hood River, Wasco, Sherman, Gilliam, Wheeler County also houses there for their JRAC funds, but we would have to end our contracts with Benton County and U.S. Marshals because we would have to cut staff. And so we would have minimal staff, which we have now. We don't have adequate medical because of funding. And by that CIS letter I sent you, Commissioner Wilkins, that is a huge liability. And we still have not gotten our second mental health nurse in that facility.
Yeah, so we're really still just kind of in a Band-Aid approach. The question, so if the consortium did do away with the juvenile, where if we need that, where would that contracting go to?
Deschutes County, Multnomah County.
Okay. I didn't know if Deschutes.
Multnomah, but you know, a long time ago, I offered to use our work crew inmate van and transport juveniles to Deschutes County, and we would still be money ahead by what we put in there. And personally, our local citizens get nothing out of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess in a nutshell, we're just trying to, they're kind of in survival mode right now, and next meeting coming up is December 19th. I will be able to attend that. If you have any more thoughts, Sheriff Bencourt, I'd appreciate them. Get them to me. This thing that you did.
They set up the management of Norcor. They want it considered all one Norcor. They didn't want to separate adult and juvenile any longer. So they set up a management team where the director, the office manager, basically works directly under the board. If you just had the one facility, that position could go away and the sheriffs would just have their jail commander to do that. So that's another savings.
Okay. Yeah, and that thing that you sent me, the siren call, yeah, it's the risk with the medical and mental health. Yeah, it's becoming bigger and bigger factor. Like, but anyway, so like I say, I think all the board was pretty sure that the tax levy was the way to go, but it's not. I don't see anybody in favor of that right now. But we are going to have to do something to address the facilities maintenance down the road here.
One thing I would say, sorry for interrupting, is the juvenile directors, one in particular, has pretty much controlled that and why the discussion for closing the juvenile facility has failed in the past. And I have, regrettably, I guess, because I probably ruined some relationships there, reminded the directors that they're elected and the juvenile directors are appointed. Saying.
Anyway, more to come, I'm sure, this next couple of weeks. But do you know any of the sheriffs, planning on attending that next meeting too, or?
I do plan on attending, and
Okay.
I'm sure at least two of the other sheriffs are.
Okay. So hopefully we'll have some more forthcoming information then.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
The only thing I have on the agenda here, 12:10, there's a Citizen Advisory Committee meeting in Arlington. Korea meeting scheduled for December 13th. I have another scheduling conflict.
Okay.
I don't know
Well, okay.
where we're at least
Yeah.
by Zoom or,
Uh-huh.
but there's no way I'll be able to make that meeting.
It's the 13th.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
And,
December 13th, I could do that.
yes. And hopefully the next meeting I'll have some forthcoming information on the Cedar Springs bypass.
Oh, good. For the engineering.
Judge, on website, we know are interested.
Good.
So RFP's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Relocation.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
that's all I got.
Commissioner Watkins?
So I attended the committee meeting down there at AOC, which was long. And anyway, they named me as an alternate to your position,
Okay.
which is what I was before.
Right.
Is 13th Thursday?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
I can look at seeing if I can get on Zoom.
Okay.
Because those meetings are, the last one I sat on was long.
Yeah. And I think,
Not that, it was long at AOC, but I mean.
yeah, I think they're looking at their director. Have some applicants.
Mhm.
Anyway,
For Mike MacArthur's
Yes, yeah.
replacement.
Yeah.
Okay.
like I say, I just, their dates are not hitting what I'm trying to get through. So,
it's interesting, all the solar stuff, and
It is.
the pushback that some of the solar is getting.
I was surprised, I just
Interesting.
saw a thing from him.
Mhm.
Gilliam County still has more land developable that could be developed versus Sherman, which I was kind of shocked, but
There's a lot gonna happen. in
Yeah.
Sherman County, too.
yeah, so
Yeah.
anyway.
Yep. Times are changing. All right, yeah.
It'd be okay if they could just put them off in the scat patches.
So you couldn't see them. Yeah. And yeah. Okay, so,
Right, Sean?
all I have is AOC, just went and got my feet wet and, Commissioner, walked.
They had some
there
good
too.
speakers,
There was the really good one on, I can't remember the wording, I should have had it in front of me, about maybe utilizing town halls and getting input and, how do you get your community engaged when there's conflict? And, you know, there often is, so that was really useful. There was, good research and study on that, a program that works, so I think we can lean on that when we need to in the future. And it was just good to meet people, figure out who's who. There's a lot of new, went to the new commissioners, session, and those are the ones that we'll be at county college with, so, yeah. It'll.
so how many was there?
Oh, gosh, there's probably 35 or 40 there. Yeah, so good figuring out who's who and, yeah, the Wander Oregon was interesting. We'll do better next time, but yeah, it was great. That was a neat event. It was really great for tourists.
My
I
favorite
think.
was the Jefferson County one. I went
Oh, yeah.
over and got my fry bread and salmon.
Yeah, because each county showcases their wares or their food or drink and is open to the public. So there was many people there, so it was good. And I would like next year to enlist the chamber and maybe have them come with us for the one day and just, if they want to do something potentially regionally, if the other counties are interested, and just handle it that way and just them do it.
They had, I don't know if it was the first year I went down there, they did Peanut Hills beef. They got Peanut Hills beef to help supply some stuff, so.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's good. Okay, that's all I have. Is there anything else for the good of the order? No further business. This meeting is adjourned.